right. Looks good.
En filas de maizales con tristeza que va al frente. Y en sus valles los mezquitales corren camino real. Sí, Señor. Bañados por el sol. Verdad de Dios es.
¿Te lo vas a poner?
Sí, boliviano. Como yo
Sí. Ah, oye, no, la vas a hacer con anillos de esta semana. ¡Oh, Ivy! ¡Ivy! Hola. A la ¿tengo que entrar yo?
Claro, me trajiste nada. No. Parece viejita.
Well, go ahead. You can do whatever you got to do.
All my camping gear and then rode down and met up with them.
Look, watch that. Watch that.
And heading there was fine. Like I said, my back braking and stuff. When you're braking again.
Where's the old man at?
He's at UD doing the whatever's at UD.
Oh, this is the Iroquois.
Yes. Now I'm going to meet him there.
Each other with love and respect, and the children said, yes, we will treat each other with what? Love and respect. And she said to the parents and the elders, do you promise to treat each other with love and respect? And the elders and the parents said, yes, we will treat each other with what? Love and respect. Lucia took the hands of the children, and the children took the hands of their parents and the grandparents, and they all started down the mountain. As they made their way down the mountain, a very curious thing began to happen. The clouds gathered, and at first, it was the quiet rains that fall in the spring. Rub your hands together. And then, as more clouds gathered, it began to pitter-patter, and the children laughed as the raindrops kissed their faces. And then the clouds broke loose, and it was a mighty, mighty downpour. Yes, make it rain. And then they saw that the river was flowing. When they looked to thank Lucia, they saw that she had disappeared. "Oh no, what do we do?" said the parents. And the elders said, "Remember, Lucia said, as long as we treat each other with what? She would always be with us." And do you know, to this day, in that Zapotec village in Mexico, the river runs freely because the people never forgot the lesson of love and respect taught to them by a stranger. Colorín colorado, este cuento se ha acabado. Coloring colorations, the story is now over. Give your... Habías de enseñarme al amor, al Señor mismo, luego con la rosa verás, una vez en la llanura y otra vez en la ladera. Cantaremos para repartir. Hayas de enseñarme a
I didn't know that.
I just saw her a minute ago, so she's not in, she's right out. But I don't swear she's not in.
We'd love for you to see when your best Mexican dance goes around.
Just step forward a couple of feet.
Yeah.
Ay, qué bonito es bailar, es un chico lindo, que lo saben zapatear, tanto chico como rico. Ay, qué bonito es bailar, es un chico lindo, que lo saben zapatear, tanto chico como rico. Ay, repica, pica, pica, repica, repiqueteando, qué bonita, todas las que están bailando. Ay, tilín, 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 qué bonitas las chicas de los ritmos. Es un lindo, lindo, es un ritmo singular. Hay que ponerse luchando para podernos zapatear. Es un lindo, lindo, es un ritmo singular. Hay que ponerse luchando para podernos zapatear. Pica, 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 repica y repiqueteando. Qué bonita, son las que están bailando. Ay, tilín, 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 qué bonitas las chicas de los ritmos. Es un lindo, lindo, es un ritmo sabrosón, que se baila con estilo, de la bamba y el danzón. Es un lindo, lindo, es un ritmo sabrosón, que se baila con estilo, de la bamba y el danzón. Pica, 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 repica, repiqueteando, qué bonita, todas las que están bailando. Ay, tilín, 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 qué bonitas las chicas de los ritmos.
We're freshmen at Stivers.
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm here for the Tiger Times, here to interview April about her mother's weird occurrences.
Yeah, she never discussed the memory with me. All I know is something strange happened, and she had to go away for a while. And yeah, some people say they were there that day, and they didn't see anything. But my mother did, and what my mother saw, it changed her world. It changed her way of thinking, and it changed my world. And from what I hear, I guess mom's fine nowadays. She was fine for a while, back, you know. But certain things would trigger the memory, like the way something smelled or the way something sounded. And the last time that happened, when I was around, we were fine. We were laughing, singing, and making pumpkin pie for our church. And she was washing dishes, and all of a sudden she just dropped the plate she had in her hand, and it broke. And she whispered, "Sarah," and I'm like, "Mom, who's Sarah?" And she let out this really demonic laugh that left me speechless. And so she started to sit next to the plate she'd just broken, and I was like, "No, let me get that for you," because Mom was pregnant at the time, with my baby sister. So she just ignored me, and she was sitting on the ground breaking up the pieces of glass into even smaller pieces. And she was even cutting her fingers, and like I tried to stop her, but she just kept breaking up the pieces of glass. And she kept talking about how somebody else was with us, and she kept saying somebody was trying to stab her, and she kept yelling to call the police or they'd stab me too. And I was like, "Mom, who are you talking about? Nobody's in the kitchen with us." And she was like, she just kind of brushed it off. She was like, "Oh, no one." And then she said, "Let's get you washed up." And she grabbed my arm. And before I know it, she's like bashing my face into the dirty, soapy dishwater in the sink. And I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, I'm about to die. I'm actually about to die this time. So I was fighting as hard as I could, and I was slipping further and further under until I finally just gave up. But the next thing I knew, I was waking up and I was on the floor. The kitchen was pitch black, but there was moonlight shining in through the window, and I saw Mom crouched over, sobbing, and she had a knife in her hand. And before I could formulate a thought, she thrust the weapon into her abdomen, and she screamed. She was like, "April, please!" So by this time, she recognized me. And it was sickening. Crimson-colored fluid just stained her apron, and I was going through them, like, so many emotions. I was sad. I was angry for the most part, because all she had to do was take care of herself for the sake of what would have been my baby sister, but she couldn't even do that. So she just kept telling me to get out of the house and go get the police. So adrenaline pushed me out the back door, and I ran through traffic, and everybody was staring at me, and nobody offered to help. And that's the worst Mom's little fits had ever been, and that's the story of the last time I saw my mother.
Well, thank you for your time, Sarah.
We're part of the creative writing department over at that wonderful building there. And we've been writing scary stories for Halloween, but we did it the day after for Day of the Dead. Felt right. And I'm Colin, and this is Hannah, and we're going to do our piece for you. It's awesome. Fixing the mic, sorry, technical problems. So, the name of our piece is The Attic, and I suppose we should start it now. All right. Thank you for being willing to listen.
It started with a girl who always held her eyes wide open, but when she heard the voices, she closed them tight.
When she closed her eyes tight, the voices echoed off the walls. They whispered at first, and then they screamed at her.
She pulled the covers over her face to drown them out, but they came from the attic above her head, and they said things.
They told her to run.
They told her to stay.
She could do nothing but listen to them bicker back and forth.
Back and forth.
They never agreed.
But one day, she talked back.
She asked them how she could run.
Or how she could stay.
This time, they agreed.
They told her to jump out the window.
Yes, the window on the far side of the room. It was cracked and stained. It was perfect.
She looked out the window, a long fall down. She wouldn't survive.
Yes, but she had to get away from the voices.
Oh, the horrible voices.
So one day she ran to the far side of the room and jumped. And right before she splattered on the pavement, she woke in the room below the attic.
Voices would laugh and laugh, saying, "Look, we got her to do it again."
Her waking nightmare would restart over and over again.
Oh look, it's almost your bedtime, you better get going.
How do you suppose we're going to jump this time? Thank you.
I don't like microphones. That's exactly why.